So, how's the tight ends?
Tight end room is doing well. I think those guys are excited to come to training camp. There's no school, so there's no academic responsibility. It's just football, 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 and spending time with their teammates. So far, I think we're off to a great start. Guys are working hard.
Talked to Luke, and he said in June something started to click back with his kind of physicality, that he was moving like he used to move before the injury. Did you see that? Have you seen that too?
Yeah, first off, it was unfortunate that Luke got injured last year. I think it was Game 3 versus Western Michigan. But
Yep.
I'm just going to talk about him as a leader. Luke naturally wants to lead by example, but when he got injured, he kind of showed up every single day. He stayed engaged, and he became more of a vocal leader. And I think that's going to pay dividends for our entire team this year. But just getting him back, he was ready to go during spring football. We were definitely smart with his reps. Wanted to kind of ease him in because he was out for a long time. And then just get in school behind you, all that kind of stuff. And once June came, and get him with the strength and the conditioning program, let them do what they do. And I think he feels really good right now.
I'm convinced he might be the nicest person I've ever met.
Nah, he's a great kid.
Yeah.
His father Jim and mom Ann did a tremendous job with him. I think he's a tremendous kid. He's a great leader for us, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Addison Ostrenga stepped up last year in a bigger role and seemed to excel. And have you seen that arrow continue to go the direction it was?
Addy from the day one, Addy came to Iowa. He consistently worked his butt off. He's a guy that's a smart, intellectual guy.
Yep.
He's going to do every single thing you tell him to do. So Addy's a great kid. Guys love him in the room, and I think he's going to have a great season. The best. Addy is only still 3 years out of high school. Because he played as a true freshman. But I think his best football is ahead of him. Addy's really good in the run game. I've seen that improvement in camp, and I think he's going to also help us in the passing game. And also he'll have a role on special team. But more importantly, I think the room is strong. If you look at Addison Ostrenga, guys like Johnny Pascuzzi, those guys had Steve Stylianos. When we played Wisconsin last year, we lost Eric All because of injury. Luke versus Wisconsin.
Yep.
Luke got hurt in third game of the season, and Addy, had a medical situation where he was gone. So tight end number 1, 2, 3 are out for the Wisconsin game, and here come Johnny Pascuzzi, Steve Stylianos, and Zach Oatworth. So those guys stepped in and did a great job for us and helped lead us to a victory. So I know a lot of people are focused on Luke. A lot of people focus on Zach, on Addison Ostrenga, and also Zach Oatworth and Hayden Large, but the other guys have to develop, because we have to look at guys in the room that everybody have to develop, because you never know when your number is going to be called.
I saw Ortworth at the John Deere Classic recently. He is filled out. I saw Zach at the John Deere Classic, the golf tournament, and he's filled out. He's added about 20 pounds to his frame, I think, and he looks like a different kid than last year.
Yeah, and I give a lot of props to what those guys do in the weight room. Coach Ray Braithwaite and his entire staff. You feel confident as a coach that when you recruit a kid here, put him in our weight room with great coaches and let him be part of that strength and conditioning program, that those guys are actually going to develop, be bigger, faster, stronger, and more athletic. And that's what you see with guys. Is you look at a guy like Steven Stylianos, had 2 years left, came here, didn't really play much his first year, but then got another offseason under his belt, and he just became a better football player. But I tell guys, the better you work in there, and the more you improve inside of that weight room, the better football player you're going to become. So I give a lot of credit to the strength and conditioning staff as well.
I was tight end you. You guys use the tight ends. How does this offense use the tight ends that might be different than what we've seen in the past?
I think it's very similar. I think this offense incorporates not just only the tight ends, the fullbacks, but also the receivers. So I think it allows us to be an important factor in the running game, because we want to run in football first and foremost. And Tim Lester have definitely said that's what we want to do. But more importantly, in the passing game as well too. So my job as a coach is just to develop as many guys as possible, get as many guys above the line. And when I mean above the line, it's guys that can execute an entire game plan at a high level. I think right now we're about 5 and pushing about 6 guys in that room, and wherever Tim calls, whether it's 11 personnel, 12 personnel, we'll be ready to go. But I think it's a great group of guys. Excited to get Luke back. I think that was a major win for our entire football program, and I think he's going to lead that room this year.
Last question. You got a couple of freshmen. Hoffman was been with you since January. What have you seen from those guys?
Hoffman came in maybe 211. He's up to about 230 something right now. So you look at Hoffman, you look at a guy like Michael Burt, you look at a guy like DJ Vonamy. Those guys are coming in, and they're coming in with the right mindset and attitude. What I love about camp is they actually, our guys staying at the hotel, but you're able to take like a Luke Lachey and pair him to stay with a guy like Michael Burt in terms of their roommates for camp. And I think that's a huge plus for a guy like Michael Burt to be in the room with Luke Lachey. The same way Addison and Stringo was in the room with Sam Laporta. So this is a chance for those guys to bond. They can bring them along and help guys develop. And I think that's a key piece. It's not just the coaches, but when you have senior leadership or older guys like Luke that are also bringing the younger guys along, I think you've got something special there.